I am not encouraging or advising anyone to modify their firearms. This is not a tutorial. This is for entertainment purposes only. Since I've been porting pistol barrels, my buddies who are into guns naturally want some barrels ported. That makes sense to me. I'm happy to do it. I enjoy the design work and the machining process. My buddy has this Smith & Wesson Performance Center Competitor. I only have the slide in the barrel because he lives a couple hundred miles away and we didn't want to deal with sending the whole gun through an FFL. I think these are super cool guns. I really like the M&P series in general. This one strikes me as a great candidate for barrel porting because it's clearly a performance-oriented pistol. It has all these cool lightning cuts in the slide. I don't know why Smith didn't port these from the factory like some of their other Performance Center offerings. Maybe they had a specific competitive class in mind and ports would push it out of that class. I don't know. I don't compete. Unfortunately, I can't shoot it and do the comparative testing like I normally do with my pistols. Well, I guess I could have just done this, but I don't really have the time and I wanted to get the slide and barrel back to my friend as soon as possible. Although, this is a sick color combination. Dude, Smith & Wesson, hook it up. This is dope. Anyways, sorry, no shooting footage. I'm just going to discuss my design for the ports and give some detail regarding the machining process. I did the design work for this pistol and my personal M&P 5-inch in tandem. I've already put out a video about porting this pistol, so check that out if you're interested. The performance of this competitor should be really similar to my M&P 5-inch. The designs are slightly different, but they have the same overall port, cross-sectional area, V angle, and position in the barrel. I will drop a link to a playlist of all my porting videos into the description. We looked around and only saw one company porting these pistols. I won't name the company, but I don't really understand their design. In my opinion, to increase performance of the pistol and decrease time to get back onto target, we want to decrease muzzle flip as much as possible. This design has ports in the barrel that match the factory cuts in the slide. These look like they're crowded towards the top of the barrel a little, but will primarily be directing gas sideways. It will act as a muzzle brake and may help reduce recoil some, but I doubt these would do much for muzzle flip or the overall performance of the gun. This slide has these nice long slots all the way along the top, and we both figured it would make the most sense to sneak some ports in there. This also meant I only needed to machine the barrel, obviously, and not the slide. I had him take some measurements of the barrel and slide before he sent them to me, so I could come up with a rough 3D model to start visualizing how I can get the ports in the barrel lined up with these slots. I wanted to see if I could sneak the ports in through the slots vertically, but there wasn't enough room for that, so next I projected some geometry and made a sketch to get an idea of the angle I needed. It ended up being about 15 degrees. I then came up with some different designs based on my targeted total cross-sectional area of the ports. I sent him pictures of the designs and let him pick which one he wanted. He's a man with good taste, so he picked the same one I would have. 2 slots on either side of the barrel. I think the shape of the slots will complement the other cuts in the slide nicely. I didn't have much space to sneak ports in through the lightning cuts on the top of the slide. Using my 3D model, I found I couldn't even get 1/8 of an inch of width in there without the slide material overhanging the ports and possibly blocking gas flow. 7/64 of an inch looked good, but it was very tight, so in case that still interfered, I modeled another set of ports with a 3/32 inch diameter and went with 3 ports on either side for a total of 6 instead of 2 on either side for a total of 4 to maintain the cross-sectional area I wanted. I was pretty pleased that the angle ended up only being about 15 degrees off the vertical, as that will still direct most of the gases upwards to counteract muzzle flip. You can see here that the ports are at a 15-degree angle with respect to the top of the slide, but the center axis of the ports does not line up with the center axis of the bore. I had to offset them towards the outside to get them in the position I needed within the ports. This will complicate my machining a bit. The V angle and offset from the center may also help keep carbon off the front sight, but he runs a red dot and irons don't even co-witness through the window, so he's not using his irons anyways. Once I got the barrel and slide in hand, I confirmed all the measurements I used to create my 3D model. To confirm what size end mill to use, whether it was 7/64 or 3/32, I mounted the slide and barrel together in my tilting vise. I set my 15-degree angle, then put a 7/64 drill bit upside down in the chuck. I played with the position until I got the bit centered in the slot to see if there would be interference with any edges. At the same time I was doing this, I had zeroed my y-axis on the center of the barrel and dialed in my offset that I calculated in my 3D model to check if that offset from the bore axis was in the right range. 7/64 of an inch diameter was going to work just fine and sneak in there without interfering with the edges of the slots in the slide at all. I have already gone over the machining steps and process for ports in a V configuration that are also offset from the central bore axis in past videos. This barrel is no different, so I won't include that information here. I deburred and broke the edges of the slots from the top with a very fine needle file and ceramic stones. I deburred the bore with some 600 grit sandpaper wrapped around a small rod like I normally do. The refinish on this barrel came out nice. It's a 400 series stainless steel, which is easy to blacken up with the right chemicals and process. So that wraps up the porting job on this Smith & Wesson M&P Performance Center Competitor. I wanted to make a short video showing my port design, as there doesn't seem to be a lot of options out there for this pistol yet. This is just, one way the factory slide cuts could be used to sneak some ports into the barrel. I'm very pleased with how it came out and how it looks. I think this gun is a prime candidate for porting, and I'm glad my buddy wanted to have it done. It's cool that he was willing to let me do the design and machine work. It was a really fun project. I'll get to shoot it at some point too. I did recommend that he installs a 13-pound recoil spring, as that's what functioned best after I ported my 5-inch M&P. So let me know what you think of this gun and the porting work. Thanks so much for watching.